Hey, DJ.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry, I was realizing that I have no images on my computer because can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just kind of blotchy.
Oh my God. Oh, I know hold on. Give me 1 second.
I have my super file open, so hopefully I last in this too.
Okay. No, I had YouTube open too to get the link to get in Discord to send around. And
Gotcha.
I was hearing myself talk and like, how am I doing this? I'm like, it sounds like I'm hearing myself behind. I'm like, oh, duh, it's because the YouTube's open.
Yeah, you sound better now.
No, but I was saying that I have no images on my new computer really, and Google's like today decided that something's wrong with it when I try to download anything. So there's no
really
thumbnail, which is fine. I figured out the problem. It's just just pull this up, and yeah, we should start getting people in here. Trying to get everything together. I thought I had a ton of time, and I did not. But did you see my bananas hit last night?
Yeah, that was crazy. I think I retweeted it. That was
the dumbest. I had a $10 free bet. I was like, I should do something stupid.
I was trying to explain to my girlfriend like how miraculous it was, and she's like, "Why don't you just do that every time?" Like, no, you can't. You like,
yeah.
She's like, just follow those. You guys just need to follow your picks every time. I'm like, I do. It doesn't hit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like McTavish was definitely popping for sure. People join. We just talk about. Yeah, I mean, McTavish was popping pretty big time as far as like expected goals. Like, should be getting more. The everything's going up, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna bet him to score 1 goal, and Timo too. And then I was like, you know what? What am I? It's $10 free bet. Let's just roll the dice. I think this game has the best chance of going over. Let's just go all the way. And they both scored 2. It's probably going to be a crazy game. And like every facet of how crazy that was is just magnified by the fact that Timo had 2 tipped goals get called towards him after not being called. I don't know if did you watch the game at all? It was garbage. So, I mean, would not blame anyone for not tuning into freaking the San Jose Sharks at the Anaheim Ducks. But
I was at the bar watching it, so I actually did catch it.
Yeah, I turned it on in right after the LeBanc goal, the second one. I was like, okay, I got to check this out. There's no way Timo didn't score either of these, and I'm like, wait, he might have scored that. And then I was like, all right, I'll watch the third, and it just an insane run, nothing like it. That will never happen again. $10 free bet. You might as well get crazy, and that was the only game I would have bet the over. I did bet the over. I didn't really tout it because I felt like that was everyone's touting pick for the over. And I was like, I'm not going to be the 90th person to say this game might go over. Like, it might. That certainly is an option. But, yeah, it felt – I wouldn't say fishy. It just felt very on the line, like maybe almost not even EV positive anymore at where it was at close. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Everyone was on the over there. So I just didn't even say it. I'm like, if you didn't bet the over in this game at this point, I don't think I'm going to change your mind by saying like it's marginally good. Right. Every other game I had the under except for I didn't bet it, but I mean, Washington and Nashville was like, this is the over for sure. And I'm like, am I really going to bet a true back-to-back both team game over 6.5? No. So that was the only one like mathematically I liked. And then I mean, I was more on the Tampa Bay Winnipeg, like that actually, like I had it as an under, but something about that game is just like, maybe we just don't know what this Winnipeg team even is. So I stayed off that under, which ended up pushing.
It's very true. And that's going to be weird when you're looking at like team totals for like Corsi and stuff, because they've missed some big players like for the majority of the year. So it's just odd that like, I don't know, like with Ehlers back in the lineup and like seeing what they can do with a full top 6 all of a sudden, like they really haven't had that. So I wonder if they're going to like, if their Corsi numbers are going to be even better. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to be a more exciting team.
They were rolling without him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if PuckLuck plays at that level, I mean, they're a good team.
Yeah. This was my debate was like, I'm betting Winnipeg in general. It's like, I'm basically just projecting that Winnipeg is a lot better because the math was saying like Tampa Bay is a better team here all day. And I'm like, all right, well, that may be true for the past 10, but is it going to be true in the next 10? Because Winnipeg they just lost 4 waiver wire pickup players for I would say at least 2 legitimate, top 6 forwards in the league. I mean, Blake Wheeler is kind of teetering, and this year has been a bit of a renaissance. Ehlers obviously is a very, very useful player. So I kind of went that way on that. And I don't say I lucked out, but I mean, Vasilevsky was not 100%. So, but we can start moving towards this slate. Let's
pull some
stuff up. Hold on. I think people are starting to join now. I got to just share. Getting back used to this. Yeah, I was basically going for all of December. So
I should say, and for everyone that's listening right now, the site is completely unlocked. So even if you're not a member, you have full site access. I'm going to leave it unlocked for the entire day. So we'll enjoy this Saturday slate together. So feel free to check out any of the pages. If you're new to PuckLuck, there's a ton of tools, whether it's DFS or sports betting tools that you need.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been red hot. I don't know if you have the exact number on the week for how much it's up. I've pretty much tailed, I would say, the majority of the picks. I couldn't bring myself to do Seattle the other day against Toronto, and that hit really, really, really easily with the 5-1 win. That was the one that I was like, man, I couldn't click it. I don't know what it was. My thought process was, okay, if I'm going to play this straight, I can play it straight, but I'm not going to straight bet this. So instead of parlaying it, I'm just going to take Austin Matthews shots, because there's no way he's not going to go over 3.5 if they lose this game and he gets 3. Again, everything about it. Sometimes you just got to trust the model.
Yeah. And what you're starting to see, and that's the model has not liked Toronto's goaltending, but Toronto's goaltending for the first, majority of games was really good. So I've kind of been getting burned on betting against Toronto a lot, but now that they're starting to fall off, you're starting to see, like, Matt Murray did not play well the other day. And I just saw that Samsonov's confirmed tonight, but he had a bad game last game too. So it's like, okay, if they're starting to regress to where the model is, that's why we always try and stay ahead of the curve, and the model helps with that. Then there might be some money to be made betting against Toronto. So
absolutely. I mean, I am very much the opposite on goaltending. I think, well, I mean, I'm not saying opposite, because it's not like goaltending is the only thing that matters in the model by any stretch, but to me, it's like, I look at some of these, like, the only picks I don't go with is I basically pull, hold on, this is in always in our Discord. Pull this over quick. This is like can you see it? Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, you can. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. But this is kind of the 10-day thing that's always free in our Discord, that Matt kind of puts together, and it kind of goes over just the 10-day expected goals. It really doesn't factor in goaltending very much. This is just sort of at the very end here, just kind of going over. It's more of like, is a team beating expectations on the goalies they're playing against over the past 10. I am very just not someone that likes to bet based on a goalie just in general. There are exceptions to the rule, and there are times where I'll look at the goaltending and be like, all right, this is just a little bit, this changes it just enough to kind of take me over the edge. But this is just more of like how a team is actually performing over the last 10. I use this to kind of make my end decision. And I realize that when this agrees, like with this kind of stuff, and there's a lot here and a lot of abbreviations that you may be like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So again, get in the Discord. We can explain this more. It doesn't really matter. But when this agrees with PuckLuck.com, I believe it's a 1,000% batting 1,000. Like it is funny how, like, when the model agrees with the 10 days, it's like everything kind of connects. And that's when I basically smash the bet every time. I also will note that the expected goal pace and the goal, like, this stuff is not a perfect science for betting overs and unders at all. So I would just defer to PuckLuck on the goals completely. This is more of just saying, like, how do I want to word this? Team scoring. It's really not a perfect way. I mean, goal. It doesn't matter. Let's not get into the nitty gritty. We'll just get to the games and we'll go from there. It doesn't really. Yeah.
I'll just make a point on PuckLuck real quick with the over unders. Well, first of all, if you go to teams, there's a drop down for over under percentages.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is useful if you're looking at a game between two teams where you're like, oh, they both seem to hit the over when it's set at this or whatever. That's very strong. So you'll see that's up to date too. So that's the number of times that, when it's set at, if it was set at 5.5 for every single one of Vancouver's games, that's the amount of times that they'd hit the over, 82% of the time.
And so, again, the one thing that I warn a lot of people about, is, I guess with props, with any sort of betting, it can be any sport. This is universal. It's like, if you don't understand when, I guess it's like, okay, the actual output will lead the books to change the line, right? So if a team should not have hit the over and they hit it 7 of 10, understanding like that kind of a situation and then betting against it is more of my mentality. So I look at a lot of these numbers and I say, okay, like this Vancouver thing, 82%, that's a bit of I want to say complete anomaly, because teams can do that. And it happens almost every year. We see teams that just consistently have these overs. But I like to understand why it's happening. And if you don't understand why it's happening and you're just blindly betting, saying, okay, 82%, who cares that, Nick? It's going to keep hitting. Like, numbers regress. And the mean of 50% isn't completely accurate for any of these teams. I'm not saying that they're going to drop that far. But I would really look at the recent 10, which is what we pull, and see like, okay, is this number sustainable? Because the books are not going to adjust until they start hitting those unders consistently.
Exactly.
So you're going to be getting a much better line. This is like, okay, the wide view on the season, and then the narrow view, I think, will help make the best educated guess. Because again, we are guessing. Vancouver, again, like, we've seen expected goals games. I remember back when Edmonton had like a 6 on their own against the Islanders, and it went for like 3 goals. It's not like it's ever going to be perfect, but I would only warn people that when you look at things like this, which are useful and they are helpful, that this is what happened already. And we're not betting tonight about what happened already. The books are pricing it that way. But what should happen in this matchup is not always a perfect science. But this still is a good tool. And I do see a lot of bettors that do this. They sort of, okay, well, like Winnipeg, for example, everyone was betting the under. And it's like, well, in the past, I think, 10 games, they've hit like 9 of them. And it's like, that's fair, but this isn't the same Winnipeg team. I mean, we had it right about 6. I think PuckLuck did as well. The pace of the game was really, really bad because Winnipeg was just not producing any offense on the bottom 6 at all, like 0 offense. They were basically the Blackhawks in the bottom 6. And it was saying like, well, this is like, there's no way Winnipeg is going to produce enough to meet Tampa to get that over. I was thinking, but Winnipeg's a whole new team. But we a lot of things from the past, but we should start looking to the future. Is there anything else you want to mention on this though?
Yeah, well, it's a tool, kind of a tool just to go in line with the projections that we make every single day, where you will see like a projection around 6, and you're like, okay, but both these teams have hit the over. So then you think, why is it lower, or why is it higher? Why should I be betting over or under here? Is it the goalie? Is it someone significant is out in the lineup, out of the lineup? So it's just another tool to kind of help guide you. But
right. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of players that are going to be returning and changing how teams play. And a lot of times I just stay away. That's what happened with the Tampa game. And like, either way, if I would bet the over or the under, I didn't have the over. I didn't bet it. Like, I just thought that the under was a bit of a fish play, in my opinion. It just kind of felt like you were taking in what's happened with, I'm not like exactly, Winnipeg had, I think, an historic amount of waiver wire pickups starting in the lineup to returning 4 or 5 players that are all like good NHL quality players. It wasn't like they were returning nobody. So right. I do think sometimes we get a little bit narrow sighted, and it's easy to, and again, we never know what's going to make something hit. It's not like, you can totally guess one night and hit every single bet. So it's not like you can't luck into this stuff, but yeah, we could get to the slate though. We have a game at 1:00, so we might as well get started. Is there any last thing you want to mention before we get into it?
Nope. Let's go.
All right. So the first game is not one I'm really looking forward to betting as far as I don't think there's much. I've already seen a lot of people I had someone just mention Jack Hughes and his shot prop over. I haven't pulled up every team yet. He is averaging about 9 attempts per game over the last 10, which is crazy. I mean, that's a ton. If we're going to be reactionary to his prop and say he's going to continue this, we are getting him at, I wouldn't say the worst price that we've seen, at -140 over 3.5. But I do think this is going to be what's hammered the most. I don't think we project it in the model to be a good or bad bet. I'm actually trying to pull that up. But as I mentioned before we got started, Google isn't allowing me to download anything. So I'm going to be doing this on my phone, looking at the model and then talking about what it says. I don't think this actually pops at all. If you find it on Underdog or if you find it on Prize Picks over 3.5, I think it's fine. I do think this will be the most popular bet on this game, though. In general, for the game, it is a slight, Devils lean. It's sort of the tale of two teams where the Devils still are, I think, one of the better teams in the league. They have not played that way since felt like weeks.
It's been a while.
The Rangers
the last 5 they're up and down. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the Rangers have turned it around quite a bit. I think the Rangers are very good. It is Igor and net. The Devils, I'm assuming it's Vanacek. I don't know if we have that fully confirmed yet.
It should be because
Devils
Speed was not good last game.
Yeah, it has to. It almost has to. They saved him for this game, but they never announced it, so I don't want to say for sure, but we should know in about 15 minutes. My lean on this game, before I look at the math, would be it's probably priced almost completely accurately. I'm almost positive. Actually, I had it up, so I may have already seen. I assume your model is going to like the Rangers plus money a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to bet it.
It's the pick of the day, so it's a Shesterkin lean, like all Rangers games.
Okay, yeah, wow, minus 160. That's even more than I thought it'd be. I don't have a ton of interest here. I think that there may be a prop in play that's worth doing. It honestly might be Jack Hughes, but like I said, it really feels like we are reacting. Although I don't think the market has reacted quite as much as because again, like I said, what has happened should it have happened? Yeah, he has 9 attempts per game. Like he should be hitting this over 3.5 almost every single night. So I don't think it's wrong to bet it at all. Is it the best priced thing in this game? It might be a bit of a debate. I mean, Dougie's not too far behind. But if we're assuming they're trailing, I do think that the Devils will be shooting. But the Devils really have not been producing quite as much Corsi as we may remember. We pull this up. They are, the Corsi index is kind of saying like the Corsi for and against, kind of they're really good at eliminating Corsi. So are the Rangers. Should be a slower paced game, but the Devils are outproducing. So it's kind of like a small lean to like the Devils should shoot more pucks at the net than a normal team against the Rangers is essentially what this is saying.
Yep.
I wouldn't peg them for probably more than 27 to 30 shots on net. So when you get kind of down to the nitty gritty, it's like, what kind of shot share does Jack Hughes have? It seems very high. It's worth betting. It's fine. I wouldn't bet the house on it. It's still over 3.5. He still has to put 4 pucks on net, but I don't know. I don't think that's my only interest here. But it's probably my biggest lead. So you're taking the Rangers money line. Are you taking the puck line, or are you just
both? Yeah, both.
Both. Okay.
Rangers money lines is stronger, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
I do want to mention that if you are looking for an under, I think they still have Dawson Mercer as a point. Let me look. You take him out now? I do think that's not terrible. He was, as you may have just seen before I quickly flashed away, but minus 170 for a guy that's fourth line. We can wait till we get this confirmed in 12 minutes and not in the power play. I think that's a fair bet, but I get taking a minus 170. It's just sort of like whatever, but we're already projecting the Devils to lose. We're projecting them not to have a lot of goals. We're not projecting a ton of pace. He's not going to get a lot of minutes, no power play run. Yeah, it kind of feels like again, you never use the term like free square or anything because absolutely points can be very, very random. The guy could literally dump it into the corner as he gets off the ice and, Jack Hughes is out there and Jack Hughes kind of correlate. And like you see, like when they were trailing, Hughes, Howell, and Tatar played an exorbitant amount of minutes. Hughes kind of just didn't come off the ice as much as he could stay. So they may even see each other. But I did want to mention these lines, which they did lose, so they could change. So I would wait just because if let's say they just thought that Tatar sucked and they moved Mercer back up, I wouldn't bet it till we see it. But that was one note I wanted to mention. And yeah, Rangers, I don't know. I just have no interest in betting a shot prop against the Devils really at this point.
Yeah, they limit so many shots. It's hard to go over on anything.
Yeah, just pulling up again the 10 days. Zibanejad, Panarin, Kreider, the obvious guys that have been shooting. I don't know. I don't think any of them are priced very well. So again, my lean is almost just fade this game entirely or take one of these two easier pieces as long as we get confirmation here, or maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe Howla gets demoted. Like I said, like I would just double check because one of these guys like Tatar or Howla, although at least Tatar was on the first power play and I kind of assume that'll stay. And we really don't know anything to project against it. But yeah, I can't imagine they change. It's the only thing that worked. So yeah, just wanted to kind of mention that maybe a Devils under on a point is in play, but we could probably move to the next game. I don't think that there's anything on the Rangers I'm super into. I get the Zibanejad point prop as well, but I don't know. None of these scream value to me. I don't think this game's gonna be very high scoring. I almost lean the under, but again, I don't even know who's in net for the Devils. It kind of just feels like I'm gonna, no. I think I'm basically I'm just gonna bet one of these two and move on. Anything else here? And then you're gonna your pick of the day is
the pick of the day would be Rangers money line.
I have no problem with it either. I think it's probably correct. And again, like based on the 10 days, which I mentioned is something that I like to double check with. And you may be saying, well, it kind of seems like it's not really saying the Devils are much better at all. Actually, you get to the goal index and it's like,
right.
Okay, well, they actually shouldn't win this game. So like it depends on what you're using here. And that's kind of the problem with this is you can confirmation bias yourself on the sheets like this and on the math. Like you're like basically if you're saying that these goalies are equivalent across the board, 100% equivalent, the Rangers might win. And it's going to be Shesterkin versus Vanacek. So I think it's probably Rangers if anything, but I just really don't have a ton of interest. I'd rather just go a different direction, I think, and be safer. But we can move to our
Rangers.
The
Rangers have been better at even strength, but they are very power play dependent too. So they're kind of a frustrating bet if they're not getting consistent power play opportunities.
Right. So again, I like it just fine. It's probably the right pick. I don't know. There's something in me that just hates betting against the Devils. Mm-hmm. But we have Carolina and the Blue Jackets next. Now this is the game everyone's looking forward to. As again, everything is going to lead you to Carolina. Very big favorites here in every capacity. This Corsi index is a little bit lower. I think almost the same as it was against Nashville, and they had 67 shots on goal. So I'm not saying they're going to have 67 shots on goal again, especially if they just pile drive Columbus, which is very possible. But the expected goal share numbers, everything leads you to this is going to probably be a rout. The only thing that could save you is if Columbus finds ways to score, because I do think they have some uniquely gifted goal scorers on this team. But to what extent are you going to rely on that? I don't put a ton of stock into it. So with all that being said, I don't think this money line is worth betting because that's egregious. I don't think that I'm taking the over under because if Carolina gets up 3-0, they're going to sit on it. And that's the problem is that they could absolutely work a team to death if they want to, and they oftentimes just don't do it. Pulling up PuckLuck really quickly, which is open for free. You actually have this as an edge. So are you taking Carolina? Are you parlaying it? Or are you taking the puck line? What are you thinking?
Leading on taking Carolina. Obviously, if you take the money line, you're not getting very good odds. So it'd be more the puck line, which is, I think, -110 at DraftKings right now. At a goal and a half. I've looked for a unique parlay or a unique bet and over under of goalies that Columbus will use today. Personally,
yeah. What do we? Oh, we don't have goalie props. I don't think we have confirmation.
No. But I think there's a good chance we see both Korpisalo and Merzlikins in this game if Carolina shoots the puck like they did last game. Pacioretty's he's the big steal tonight for sure. He's playing with Aho and Jarvis.
Correct. I think he's going to, and that was the thing is they had 67 shots and Aho had 1 on that last game, but he's just not really, he was shooting when he had to, and now he doesn't have to anymore. Pacioretty, 9 shot attempts in his first game back. He had, I think, 6 on goal. Yeah, 6. It's right there. He's real good. They should dominate anyone they play against. Yeah,
and he's the top projection on the early slate for daily fantasy today from PuckLuck's projections. So
yeah,
and he's only 5,800.
Again, sometimes the one thing we need to check with any guy, it's like, okay, they're back, they're shooting. Is he an historic rate shooter? And the answer is a resounding yes. Like this guy,
exactly.
It's not like he came back and it's like, oh, there's a new Pacioretty in town. This is the same Pacioretty we knew and loved. This is a guy that we were hammering over 3.5 before. I don't see myself changing now. He does project. Okay, I see. I got the model up finally. Let me just look. Are there any overs we missed? Oh, that's actually interesting. Jesper Bratt over on 2 is on Underdog and Prize Picks. That actually
I almost brought him up. He's a pretty good value too from my stuff.
Yeah,
so.
definitely on Underdog and Prize Picks where you can get that very cheap. They actually, our Underdog and Prize Picks thing, it doesn't really take much of projections into account. It's more of saying a -135 is a value. So it does think that Pacioretty at 3.5 is a value at under because it's saying like this is actually they're offering you a line that they shouldn't be offering you. I wouldn't take it personally. Like I wouldn't bet it myself. But so I'm just kind of pulling this up now. But yeah, I think Jesper Bratt at 2 is totally justifiable in a matchup where I think that Vegas is saying they should have about 20 to 29 shot attempts, shots on goal on Shesterkin. I think it could even be higher, right around it. Jesper Bratt 2 that feels pretty good. I don't know how great his rates have been. I know his hit rate hasn't been fantastic, but again, this is an opportunity where we're saying a guy that is shooting, almost 6 attempts per game, he isn't hitting that mark. This is when you bet it's over. Like this is when you take the best line you're going to get because once he starts actually putting those pucks on net, that's when you're going to lose the line we're having. So I like that a lot. Another thing in this game is Emil Benstrom, who I wouldn't say it's ultra safe, but this is definitely, and I know who it's against, but he is averaging like 5. I mean, he had one game where he had like 11 shot attempts in this mix too. So it is a little bit hit or miss because of the role, but over 1.5 on a guy that I project to be a really high rate shooter in the future. He has shown it. The problem really is just his lineup spot moved, and that's kind of hurt him. He was in the top 6 with Gaudreau. Now he's, I think he might still be in the top 6. Let's look. Yeah.
Last time I checked, he was still playing with Gaudreau.
Okay. I think that is
in practice yesterday or anything.
Yeah, I think it's a fine, safe play. Like his rates are really high, but is it better than this play? No. So if you're looking for just one play, it's just Pacioretty. I don't even think you touch anything else. Carolina puck line minus. I think it's fine, but to me, I'm just probably not going to do it. It just feels like you're adding a bit more variance than I want to for. Again, I don't know. 4:00 game. I think mathematically it's fine, but I don't think I'm going to have too much of it. But that's really it here. I don't think you're betting anything crazy other than that. There's nothing else that I really need to talk about. Maybe you could even, honestly, you could take Columbus under. What's their team total? Wow. Never mind. Just don't bet it. Just forget Columbus exists, actually. Okay. Anything else here in the next game? It did for a second. Yeah, it was okay.
Do you have me? Do you see me?
I think you're frozen, but
I'm frozen.
Why don't I do this?
That's a flattering freeze.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to re-add you. I can hear you fine. We'll get to the next game. You'll come back.
Yep.
You'll pop back in.
That's good. No one needs to see my face.
I think I went one too far. Oh, it doesn't really matter. We'll just do the Sabres game next. It's fine.
Sure.
Big news here is that boldly up to the top line, Zuccarello isn't going to play. Sabres are underdogs at home against the Wild. I think a lot of people like the Sabres, but I'm not really positive. I guess I don't know that for a true fact. It just kind of feels that way early on because no Zuccarello, and that is a big loss. You still like the Wild, which makes sense. The Wild have been really good. It's kind of tough for me to want to bet against them. So I don't think I'm touching this money line situation here because this is still a really good Wild team.
Yep.
Zuccarello out. I do think that does boost boldly a decent bit. I don't think they didn't have him earlier. No, he's here. -135 for a point is very justifiable, especially if we get confirmation, which I didn't see yet, but I'll double check. It was just coach speak that Duhaime wasn't going to play, or Duhaime was going to play not in the top 6, but he was going to be the guy that got in. And we were mad about that because it should be Beckman, who's been way better than him, but whatever. I guess it helps the Sabres.
Way better shooting wise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're looking
I just like to bet him to score.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it from, can I bet this guy to score? And
yeah, exactly.
It's only Dehamy, and I think I'm saying his name right. I'm not even really sure.
No,
but that was what the coach said. Is that nah, probably not. I say a lot of players' names wrong until I finally figure it out. It's okay. Yeah, yeah. I think Boldy for a point is definitely in play. Great rate shooter historically. Just he's been bumped down to the third-ish line. I mean, again, the thing about Minnesota was it was like they had no depth, and now all of a sudden it felt like they had depth, and they've been winning. Hartman, it's just again like they're getting the production from 3 lines. It's not that they have a ton of unbelievable players, but getting production from all 3 lines is really useful. Yeah, I think Boldy should definitely keep first power play playing with Kaprizov, and he's minus 135 for a point. That just seems stupid. So that's got to be the best edge here. I don't think they're going to be close. Yeah, really nothing else I want to get crazy on. I mean, you could go for the over 2.5, but that's more of a if he gets more minutes type of play, which he should. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying here. So I guess either or. What do we got for? Yeah, over 2.5 probably just as good. He has almost 6 attempts, but if you look here, the minutes way less than Kaprizov. So if you think now he's with Kaprizov, he's going to get this kind of run, that should only go up. So yeah, I think both of these bets are great to just bet on their own. Honestly,
yeah, I agree.
I'm just trying to look if there's any confirmation.
I will say Kaprizov and Boldy are super highly correlated today. So they're the 6th best stack based on my correlation page on PuckLuck.
We're going to do some drafts on Underdog. That is going to be one that no one's going to have.
Yeah, or everyone's going to have because eventually it's going to be easy to grab Boldy or whatever. But
yeah, that's a good point. Maybe people just don't know, though. Well, I'm going to go off that narrative. People seem to not know things when I'm in those drafts.
Generally,
Kirill on Boldy, yeah. Kirill Kaprizov actually was asked about playing with Boldy, and he's like, "Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's great news." So yeah, definitely going to be there. I'm definitely going to grab these bets right now. These are just priced very incorrectly, so I'm not even going to wait around. I wonder, actually, this would be an unbelievable square on Underdog. I think too. Yeah, over 2.5 for Boldy feels really good. Like I said, more like the only problem with betting Boldy's over on shots is he, yeah. Ben over here agrees. People know nothing in these drafts. They don't. A lot of times I'm in these drafts and I'm watching people just take completely uncorrelated players because they have the same team, and it's not NFL. So yeah, but Boldy's only issue with betting is over on shots has been the minutes. It's like you look at one game, he gets 13 minutes. You're like, what? Why did this happen? I mean, last game, where is he? Yeah, he had 16, but they had a ton of power play run. It's like when the power play isn't getting the run, he just doesn't get the minutes. So you're really just praying that they get enough power play time to get him there. So yeah, but needless to say, I think Boldy is going to be one of my favorite edge-wise bets of the entire day for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
That just agree. Both of these are priced very wrong. So anything on the Sabres? You have anything you want to get to first? I wonder if they have any of these priced weird, but is there anything that you're looking at?
Well, we just know that that first line is super highly correlated at all times, and obviously the goal share is huge for anything revolving around Tage Thompson. So that's really where you look if you're looking for any points bets or goals or anything, power play, anything.
Yeah,
it's all revolving around that. One of the steals.
Cousins is,
yeah. I was just gonna bring him up. He's one of the steals for. I'm sure you're going to go into shot on goal stuff, but for power play points, Cousins touches the puck a lot on that power play, and whether it's a secondary assist or his own shot that is a rebound that gets put in, he is a good value usually for the power play over on the power play point.
Can you? No, I'll pull it up. But I was going to say about Cousins, and this honestly, it's a good. Let's just pull up Cousins game log because he was priced almost. I think at one point he was almost minus like 200 for a point. I mean, he was on a bender, and it was one of those things where it's like should this be happening? Again, I say this quite a bit. It's like, kind of like some of this seems pretty good, but not everything. And now it's kind of been very hit or miss. Now his price has come way back down. It might be time to jump on it again, but maybe not quite this matchup, especially when there's just better bets on the board. But the power play point, that's where I would go and just put a little bit on that. Who comes into the power play for Minnesota might be someone's question right now that they're not asking. Let's just take a look if we have anything here. Oh, wow.
I think I projected Hartman.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's either Hartman or
Gaudreau. Yeah, Gaudreau has gotten some run on that top unit. Obviously, Hartman was injured during that time. So maybe they go back to Gaudreau, but I mean, I can't see them throwing like Foligno on there or anything. So I'm guessing it's Hartman, but it could easily be Gaudreau, and they're both right-handed shots, so they fit well on that half wall.
So yeah, I think because before, Hartman was kind of, I don't think he was playing the half wall before. That's my kind of concern is like, are they going to move him in to kind of play it more? I don't know. He's a good player. I don't know. Again, it's like, Eriksson Ek's going to stay in the middle. Kaprizov, Boldy, Addison, and then it's either Hartman or good. I think it'll be Hartman, actually. The more I think about it, I think it'll be Hartman. That's a good point. I don't know what they have him at, but let's just take a look. I mean, if we get any confirmation that plus 450 is definitely in play because he's a very skilled player. He just hasn't had the run since he's been back. So, okay. Yeah, no, that's good. I think we could probably, I'll just move it over. I'm going to look if I can find anything on this. I'll send a couple messages around, but these are definitely the best edges. And then you could half consider this, but not really priced. I mean, again, it's like Tuck is the same odds almost. He's better. It's like, is he not, you may have this, like, is he not touching the puck as much? Like that just feels a little bit strange.
He doesn't, and that's why.
Is he net front?
He just doesn't. Yeah, he's net front. He'll carry the puck in once in a while, but he just never touches the puck. So unless it's off the rush on a power play, that's the only time he's really touching it, unless he gets a loose rebound or something. But
that's a good point. And they're trying to. I mean, obviously they're trying to give Tage the shot or Dahlin, and then Cousins is kind of okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's fine. Okay. I'll leave Hartman in. I think if Hartman's confirmed on the first power play, it's just infinitely better. As we can see, it's like Zuccarello was like he would take Zuccarello's spot. I don't think they'd move anyone. I'm not saying that these are. Oh wait, where is he? Where's Zuccarello? Is Zuccarello not even here? Am I blind? Yeah, he's not even here. I'm not saying he's equivalent to but I think he would be just as good as a plus 200 Joel Eriksson Ek as far as touching the puck for sure. Like I'm guaranteed that Zuccarello touches it more than anyone else besides Kaprizov. So, okay, that's really good. I think those are really sound bets to keep in this portfolio, and we can move over to the game I kind of accidentally skipped. This one with the last 10, pull that back up again. This is one that really leans towards St. Louis, even though they have lost a ton of players. They've actually still been pretty good without those players. They beat Toronto, they beat New Jersey. Doesn't seem to have affected them much. And I know Ryan O'Reilly wasn't playing very well before his injury anyways, so you could kind of maybe say that. But in my opinion, the St. Louis team just might be a little bit better than meets the eye. This Montreal team is not. They're really, really bad. So I do think this is a situation where I'm going to be betting a shot prop on St. Louis for sure. A very, very bad Corsi against team and Corsi forward team. And Montreal just doesn't have much depth. So if you think that any increased role on St. Louis is going to lead to a more opportunity, and the books have not quite adjusted yet, I think that's kind of the right wavelength you should be on in this game. As far as betting St. Louis, I think it's justifiable at minus 155. You have it at not really a bet, which is fair. Like I said, I think it's like, are you going to bet St. Louis at minus 155, or are you going to go to more of what I think is going to be a better bet in one of these shot props? And I think I'm going to lean towards one of these shot props. None of them are priced out of consideration.
Yeah, I agree.
Although none of these guys are kind of my all-time favorites here. But any thought on betting this game as far as the money lines or any of that's concerned?
No, I'd kind of stay off it. The model likes Jake Allen and tends to lean towards the Canadiens because of that. But we've been making money off the Blues the last couple of games that the Blues played because the books just went so crazy one way with the Tarasenko and O'Reilly injury news. But like I stated then, the guys stepping in their place are good. Like Brandon
Did I lose you? Well, I don't hear you right now. Can anyone hear Jay? He was talking. I don't know. There's a lot of people in here. Anyone hear him? I don't hear him right now. It might be me. No. Okay. Well, I don't hear Jay. I'm gonna remove him and add him back in. He seemingly froze. Nope. Okay. Well, yeah, he's kind of running the mainframe behind the scenes, so he may have been lost for a second. I while he was talking, I kind of pulled this up. So just look at the last 5 and 10 while we wait for him to return to us. Last 5 for St. Louis, Braden Shen really popping here. Last 2, and the reason I do last 2, and I know that's an incredibly low bar as far as sample size, but I pull up last 2 because last 2 they've only had, well, they haven't had Tarasenko and O'Reilly. So let's just take a look at what they've done. Still looks like Shen, Saad. That line has just been really, really good. I know me and Matt talked about it at length, but how does it feel to not be that? Yeah, no, this is great, actually, Mike. It's finally not my technology. It's someone else's, which is, this is a miracle. This is the first. A new laptop, new me, new year. I think this Shen line is, it's again, like this is betting on very recent trends and not betting on historic shooting. He's never been a great rate shooter historically. If we pull up, let's just do the full season. I bet he's going to be really, really bad. It's just been a lot of recent run. Let's take a look at Braden Shen's entire year this year. Yeah, not even 4 attempts per game on the season. Just never really been used in that role. But you're buying on a guy right now. It's fair. It's probably fine. I don't know. It's not my favorite bet in the free world, but I do think it's in play for sure. I think him at 2 on like a Prize Picks or an Underdog is even better. I wonder if that's there. Let's take a look, actually. You know what? We got a second. Why don't I look? Yeah, 2 on Underdog. So I really like this Brat Boldly Shen build. I got to get this one fired off before 1 o'clock, but that seems really correct. He's definitely been the best rate shooter as of late. And pulling up what I pulled up over here, we see that they're getting the majority of the 5-on-5 run with, I mean, the Thomas line as well. And no, actually, Achari got a ton of run, which I found interesting, but they were leading in that game. He's a defensive player, whatever. But yeah, I think that Shen on the first power play, not really, I don't think he's been shooting a ton on that power play. It's not the guy they want shooting, but I think they'll take it because who else do they have? Let's take a peek, actually. Where was he? Did he have a shot? No. I don't think they want him shooting as much as they're probably can avoid it. So I think Shen's probably the play, and it's interesting. It's definitely a recent play only. Busnevich is a guy I was always really high on. He's still here. I just feel like the rates have not come along, but is it time to buy now? Let's take a look. What was it again? Good kicker out. Yeah, 2 shot attempts per game. Yikes. And there's really spreading the wealth right now with all these guys in their role. I think you just go Shen. I don't think there's really anything else here. You could maybe take a look at Caulfield. Just he's been really, really, really good. But I don't think you have to. It's to me what it really comes down to is like how many shot attempts do I think Montreal is going to have? We have him as the second lowest projected Corsi, and they have not been good. I mean, this has been kind of hammering their under on shots as a team. They have not exceeded this expectation or even close to it in many, many games. They have had maybe you could say a tougher schedule, but I'm really, I want to have them excluded, so they're not going to show up. I think you just don't touch it. If you're going to, it's really Cole Caulfield or no one. There's just no one else on this team that has any offensive ability at all. So yeah, no Hoffman today as well. Not that makes a huge difference. He's not been very good, but just want to mention that they said he's not going to play. Haven't seen any line changes. I'm not going to be betting them for anything other than it's really just Cole Caulfield or no one. Their power play is atrocious. I'm not even going to look at it. I look at it all the time and I think like, oh, plus 600 on one of these guys that isn't going to touch the puck on the power play. I'm not going to burn myself again. Yeah, I think you just take Braden Shen and you move on in this game. I don't think this game sucks. Who cares? No one cares about this game. Am I right? Who cares about this? I do think people are going to bet the Blues, though. I think it's going to be pretty popular. So if you're going to bet the Blues, like I said, I think it's fine. The model for PuckLuck doesn't really love it, and I get why. But to me, you probably don't do it. The under is honestly probably the sharpest side of this if you're going to bet any of these, because none of the projections include. It's actually interesting to see a 6.5 with such low goalie totals. It seems like it's like, okay, so there's going to be well under 60 shots on goal. You're going to have 7 goals on that with goalies that have been, I wouldn't say atrocious. I just don't care about goalies. I just don't think this game is going to have a lot of pace and a lot of high danger chances, because the one thing the Blues are doing right now is scoring on efficiency. If that runs out, it's totally toast. So I think if you're betting any line here, it's the under, and then Shen on the shots. Let's just take a look. Jay said something. Let's look. He might be a minute. Okay, yeah, he'll be a minute. No worries. Let me actually, well, I have the model on my phone because, of course, technology really wasn't perfect today. It likes the under on Poryeko. Is he offered? No. Yeah. It likes the under on Poryeko and the over on no one. So, interesting. We can move forward, though. Forward thinking. We'll just keep it going with a game that, Detroit on a back-to-back, Toronto monster favorites. I imagine this is going to, like Detroit, it does a little bit because 270, not a lot though. I feel like there's no way you're betting these money lines and feeling good about it. It is Samsonov in net against Hellberg, which again is going to lead probably a lot of people to say even more so Toronto. The one bet, again, Michael Bunting for a point. He is still on the top power play. They did confirm that in practice. He's still with Nylander and Austin Matthews. This is just going to kind of stay in my mix. He burned us on the shot on goal for 2 last game, but he did have 2 shots on goal. I'm still annoyed about that. I'm not afraid to go back to the well, especially on Underdog or Prize Picks for 2. We have him, projected for over 2.5, pretty much ourselves, as well as this is saying like he's basically a pick 'em for over under 2.5, and the sites like Prize Picks and Underdog are offering him for 2. So yeah, Bratt, Bunting, Boldly, Shen. So far, I'm making my mix on Underdog. I'm gonna get one more in here. Oh, Jay's back.
I'm back.
I moved on. I just kind of said that Shen is the only guy that's shooting the puck a little bit more than normal, and that game sucked. Yeah, I like the under. Actually.
I heard
the under is actually probably the bet.
Yeah, that's what I just said in the chat because I just watched you from my phone. But I said the under is actually a PuckLuck pick today for the Blues in half.
Okay.
So
yeah, that actually seems pretty good. I feel like I just avoided over unders as much as I can. They're just not fun for me. I think people love betting the over under, and I'm just like, I don't know why. To me, it's like you're betting on goaltending being really good or bad, and I just hate it.
Yeah. Problem with over-unders is you have to hit at 55% to make any money doing it, and it's basically a 50-50 proposition when you think about it. So
and you know what it is? It's like I like betting overs. I try to find the best overs. Like that's kind of how my brain operates.
Yep.
And when it comes to betting, like if I get like a 6.5, I'm like, I'm gonna bet the over here. I just go, why don't I just game stack this on DraftKings and go for 30K? Like, why am I gonna sit here and make $25 if I think this game's gonna have 7 or 8 goals? Like, what does that look like? And then I end up not betting it, and I make a lineup, and then I get goalied. So, this game though, like I said, the goaltending here is why you bet this over. I think some people would, but I'm not going to. Detroit in a back-to-back, no interest in really anything. Bunting for a point, bunting shots, I think is fine as well.
Bunting everything.
I don't know. Yeah, bunting everything, and then we move on. I think the point is just the best because if you do think that Toronto's going to win as handily and easily as they should, he might just not see it as much run. When they were trailing in that game against Seattle, we saw more of him, but they just got they got worked over. So, yeah, I'm just not going to touch really. Again, you could do Matthews, but I don't know. Just
I will say the 2 top stacks of the day are both based on Matthews, but the Matthews Bunting stack and the Matthews Nylander stack, when you're looking daily fantasy stuff, that's that's where you look. Obviously, that top line is just all extremely correlated. So anything you do there, even if you do a Bunting Nylander and go a little cheaper and leave Matthews out of it, it's all extremely correlated. So
yeah, honestly, I think if you're the safety of the under 3.5 on Tavares is really probably pretty sound too. But I know that not a lot of people will want to click on that button, but he is, I mean, he would have to be ultra efficient based off recent trends, based off the game script, based off everything. He's not even getting 5 attempts per game on over the last 5. On the season, he's been a lot better though. So you could just say this is gonna break. This could be one of those bets that I just don't touch it. Actually, you know what? In retrospect, don't bet anything on Tavares. Totally fine. Bunting is just a better line. Anything on Detroit? I could pull up their last game. Is there anything that you wanted to mention about them at all?
It's tough. I don't like. I mean, they have Fabry in the lineup now, and I was kind of looking at stuff with him, but I didn't really like any of it. So, I thought, because I'm always looking for an edge on someone different in the lineup, but it's just not. It just wasn't anything that I loved.
So yeah, I'll pull this over really quickly. This is the game against Florida, and I would honestly say they may have almost been the better team. I mean, it was pretty close. I actually was kind of impressed. I didn't bet this game because again, I just didn't. I'm kind of starting to lean towards betting Florida. Just feels fishy. I sort of like Detroit, but I just never pulled the trigger. But what I do think is that we are really looking at a guy. I think last time we talked, or spent a minute, we talked about this Berggren. He's really good. I do think this is a guy you want to keep an eye on.
He is good.
If you're season-long fantasy or whatever, like keep an eye on this guy. I don't think they're offering him for a power. Oh, they are. This might not be the dumbest bet you could possibly make at 540. Just thinking about the game script, thinking about the opportunity late in games or whatever for teams to get the man advantage. I know Toronto's tough to bet against, but they are rolling 2 units. I don't think you're like incorrect for clicking him because he just is a good hockey player. They are using him in a predominant. I think he'll touch the puck on that second unit for sure. But I get saying, honestly, what's Rasmussen? Do they have Rasmussen? He's actually been pretty solid. No, they don't. But this I think plus 540 is just sort of when you start to really make me think. You think he gets a power play point in 1 of 5 games, maybe. So I don't know. We can move on. This is a guy I really like moving forward. Anything there?
I got nothing to add.
Perfect. So we can move over to Seattle and Ottawa, the Kraken, who just seemingly are really good. Now in this matchup here, wow, actually, I'm surprised. I thought you'd have them as a bigger edge than this. So you're not betting this game, I'm guessing.
No, staying away from it. It's because Forsberg's been the better goalie, and he's confirmed for Ottawa today. And obviously Ottawa's home. The team's just better when they get goaltending, and Talbot hasn't been giving it to him. So Forsberg is good enough that, and I don't like Seattle's goaltending necessarily. I know Martin Jones has been good at times this year, but I don't even know if he's confirmed for today. If it's Grubauer, then I'm definitely liking Ottawa a little more because Grubauer's been a mess again.
All right, I was just finishing. I realized I have 7 minutes left on the pick'em for including Bratt, and they have Darnell Nurse versus Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen +1. Oh my boy, I think I'm in it. I think that probably leads towards Rantanen. I know Nurse has been shooting, but Mikko Rantanen, Darnell Nurse starts with 1 shot on goal. Doesn't that seem?
Well, I had to close my super file because it crashed everything.
Okay,
but
it's okay. We don't have to.
I have Rantanen's projected shots on goal at 3.48, and Nurse's when it loads. Let's see, Nurse, where are you? 2.57. So it's really right at spot on.
If that's interesting.
+1.
That just seems. I just wonder. Let me look at it. They have them listed for shots, both of them, or no? Nurse -125.
But who's more likely to explode? Obviously, Rantanen. So
yeah, right. It's kind of betting on, the upside. Maybe it's just not worth. That just seemed weird. I normally when I see like a player and a defenseman, I think Nurse not getting power play 1 run either. It just it screams probably a good bet to me, but we don't need to do. I just want to get a slip in before we close. Maybe it's in this game. It probably isn't. Actually, this game is the worst. Getting back to where we were, this game I don't really think I'm going to like many props because Seattle is pretty good defensively. Let's look what they have here. Yeah, I mean less shot attempts than normal for Ottawa, basically, and then Seattle is. I don't think I've seen a team spread the shot share around like them. No one seems to. They just don't want anyone to shoot too much. They just everyone shoot just a little bit. Like I don't.
It's a completely balanced lineup. And their shooters, like some of their highest rate shooters are on the fourth line, like or Daniel Sprong. Sometimes you'll see Donato up there. Even Tolvanen, who just got in the lineup, he's been shooting at a decent rate, but he's third line. Like it's all just spread around. It's crazy.
It's it's frustrating because I like Seattle
it's frustrating
a lot
for
to
a
get
better.
More. Yeah. I think they're going to get more shots tonight, and then it's like it's Russian roulette by picking the guy that's going to get 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has 2, and then you're just great. This didn't work at all. As far as Ottawa is concerned, I mean they are shooting a lot. Is this a spot where they're not going to have the opportunity? So we pulled this up. Last 5. Holy crap! Can you please sort? It was DeBrincat. That's the guy that burned me last game. Only got 3 instead of 4, which sucked. On the season, just sometimes I like to double check these things because Stutzel's come way up as far as shooting. He just is really, really good. Yep. So he's going to kind of be like one of the guys that I think it's just going to continue to trend in the right direction.
He's actually who we have projected for the best chance at a goal for Ottawa today is Stützle.
Yeah. I've been just hammering his goal prop. He is just really, really good at hockey.
I have him at -110.
That is just the case. Yeah, I think that might be the best bet in this game is just take Stützle for a goal. Let's take a look and shop it around. But 225. That is
225. I have him listed at -110. Like it's
he really is just one of the best players in the league. Not listed on Underdog though, unfortunately for me right now, with 3 minutes remaining on the bet. But as far as shots on goal, oh man, I want to say DeBrincat. I want to go back to it because but you're betting on efficiency again here. I think the Chuck is far gone. The under is probably actually an edge, but I get that no one's going to want to click that button. I don't think any of this is any good. This game in general, I don't think I'm going to have any bet that I feel very strong on. So I might just not include it in a parlay. No one, nothing. Stützle for a goal. Okay. Goalie, actually? Forsberg? Let's see. What do you got for Forsberg? For saves. That might be not the stone stupidest thing I've ever heard, but because he has been good, so if we're assuming he continues to not be bad. Yeah.
At 28.
Yeah. So not much of an edge. No. We could anything. And then again, you go to this, you're like, all right, well, maybe we take like a Wember plus 140 for a point, but once again, you're I don't know. He's not in the power play anymore. There's just no one that feels great. Tolvanen to score. There you go. That's what you do. Where is he? Am I blind? Is he not here? No.
I don't know. DraftKings didn't have Ehlers listed yesterday. I was not happy about that.
Well, I think you benefited because I don't even think he had a point. Let's just move on. This game sucks. It's almost 1:00. So Colorado and Edmonton. So again, I don't think there was much edge in the last game. I didn't like anything. I hate betting on Seattle games. Regardless, let's move it over. I'm gonna lock in that Rantanen. I think I'm just gonna do it and say screw it. Rantanen gets more shots by 1 or more than Darnell Nurse. I mean, like this Nurse run seems stupid. I don't think that's that's all that great. Okay. Scroll down to this. Okay, interesting. So you got it basically a pick 'em, and they don't. So are you jumping on the not very great Avalanche team here? I'm
not, but it's too close for it to be. What do they have it listed at DraftKings?
-130 Oilers, +110.
Yeah. At +110 is not that big of an edge. But it's definitely going to be an interesting game to watch. So maybe this is one where, like you said before, maybe bet the over or bet on some guys to to get you there. If you're doing any props or anything like that.
Yeah. So, I think this game I feel like should have fireworks. Really, what's interesting about both of these teams is they're very similar right now. With it's entirely the top line, but again, with Edmonton, it's
top
not
heavy
line because it's Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, and then anyone that's around them. So it's really going to be hard here to find much of an edge on player for points or anything of that nature. So you're probably looking shots. And
Nugent Hopkins is the one guy for Edmonton I would look at.
I think
just
he was
because
priced terribly, but
is he priced terribly?
I think he's
from.
That's
he's
the one.
He's what, second line with Draisaitl? Yeah.
Minus 210 it's priced correctly. I saw that. I know. I looked at it last game. This game, that it's just that they figured that one out. Unfortunately, I think you're probably going to shots here. This game doesn't project over the past 10 to be super. None of these games really project super high for Corsi, really. But I think this game could just be a little bit better than what this is telling us. Just because over the last 10 we get McKinnon back during this stretch, so I think Colorado's kind of on the up. Edmonton is just been, I don't know. The problem with it is, again, like their bottom six doesn't do much of anything. So it's saying as a team, Edmonton really isn't going to be dominant, but the top two lines are going to produce a ton of offense. So I think if anything here, I'm looking at Draisaitl, who I look at almost every time, and this line always pops because but then again, I think the other thing I bring myself back to is Draisaitl really a rates monster, or is he just ultra efficient? And it's the latter. So maybe instead of betting that, you just bet him to score. And what's that going to give you? Plus 105. I don't know.
It's not great.
This game sucks too. I don't.
Yeah, plus 111. So it's not really an edge at all. It's tough because the sportsbook loves this game too. They're not going to price, like you said, they're not going to price anyone great because they anticipate this to be an offensive matchup. So
we have Edmonton, Colorado. I want to pull this up because McKinnon's been shooting like a madman. Rantanen really too, but where do they have Matt again?
Where you should look, and I don't think there's any props here for it, unfortunately, on DraftKings. But maybe you go goal scorer or something. Like if Costin's still playing with McDavid, and maybe look there, or maybe try a Yamamoto, something like that.
It's just the odds on those two guys are so dramatically different. Although Kostin actually, did they priced him right on draft? Oh yeah, no DraftKings, but on FanDuel it's way different. I think it still is. He didn't score, so I can't imagine they moved it. Yeah, this game I don't think there's much of an edge. I have the model up too, but I know that wasn't.
This is frustrating because this is a game that you want to get bets down on and watch, but it's one of those where it's like everything's not priced great. So and you don't want to force something. And that's my theory anyway. Yeah. I try not to force bets in there. I just always try and make sure I have, plus EV on everything I'm doing.
Let's look. Is there anyone on Edmonton that's been shooting more lately? It's kind of just trying to find a bet that makes sense. It's Draisaitl. I know it's Draisaitl too, and it's just I just don't believe that's sustainable. Like I think that is the bet, and it's just is he going to continue to keep this high rate that he's had over the past couple games? But injury comes back. I don't buy it, honestly. I think it's tough. I think that's what you click on. But you're going to include that in a parlay. You're adding a monstrous amount of variance.
There might be enough big names today, though. We'll get into it with Underdog. There might be enough big names where you could sneak in a stack, an Underdog or something involving this game. Where it's
that's what
McKinnon, Rantanen might fall. Yeah, Rantanen might fall or something.
Against the Islanders, no one wanted to draft Draisaitl McDavid, so I did a ton of it, and I had Hyman. I ended up losing first place on the Pastrnak empty netter. Whatever.
I was in that slate. I could not get Draisaitl to fall to me. I had enough shares of McDavid. I just could not get Draisaitl to fall.
You got to give the influencer boost. You should have it by now, but it just didn't come through this time.
Yeah,
the influencer draft lobby boost just wasn't coming.
No,
through.
I did.
But yeah, so we'll get to those.
Yeah, what was it? 3 days ago, I think I had the number one pick. Like every time I was in there, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have a lot of shares here. Like, what am I gonna do?
No, that's what happened yesterday with Ovi. I got so much Ovi. I didn't get quite enough Timo, but I had the absolute stone. I had McTavish. I took him last pick. I had everything that you'd need perfectly, except I went Arizona instead of Winnipeg because I was gonna go. I was like, I think someone just sniped me on Morrissey, and I was like, screw it, I'll go Chikrin. Like Chikrin's still here. Like, come on. And I played myself. Should have just gone the other way, and I would have won it all. I had Bobrovsky. I had everything. It was just so frustrating to take 12th when you had Mason McTavish, probably the only guy that took Mason McTavish. But the other hand, we do have LA and Vegas. That this is. I feel like again, like this is one where I think the under is probably fine, but is this a new Vegas team now? And that's what we're asking ourselves. They found ways to be efficient enough to where I wouldn't love this anyways, but they get Jack Eichel back and he was right in the mix, scoring, making things happen. This game almost feels like a dead stay away. I'm sure there's going to be a prop that I might want to mix in, but man, I don't love anything as far as these money lines are concerned. I don't think you do either. I pulled it up.
Well, both teams have become under teams, believe it or not. There was a time where LA was just giving up a ton of goals and shots and everything. So and obviously they were pouring on the shots. So it was like, okay, like over with LA. And since Copley's been,
they got Phoenix. Yeah, I was gonna say they got Phoenix Copley and everything was fixed.
I don't know. Who would have called that? But since he's been there, they're all of a sudden an under team. Like they're under 50% on overs.
I actually I was like Copley and Martin Jones these are the saviors for their teams this year. I said that before the year started. It didn't get recorded. It was weird. That file got deleted. But it's funny. I mean, everything seems to trend in the direction of this game shouldn't be too crazy. LA very much not so. They're just not finding ways to. I mean, they're scoring a bit above expected, I guess, but it's doesn't feel sustainable. And then Vegas has just been really bad all across the board. But they get Jack Eichel back. You only had him for one game. But to me, you just
Marchessault's back today
too.
Marchessault's back. He's playing with Eichel and Riley Smith.
Oh baby, he's not listed here yet. That's not surprising. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're not really in any rush anymore to place any bets, so I'm going to wait this out and hope that he comes up for a player prop in that case. Riley Smith probably fine. Actually,
it's a sneaky stack today. That'll be nice because I don't know how many people know for sure. All the reporting anyway. He's taken that spot where Nicholas Waugh, is it Waugh or Roy? Nicholas Waugh.
I think it's Waugh. Most positive.
Yeah, so the reports were yesterday that Marchessault's taking that spot on Eichel's wing. So
it was Eichel, Riley Smith. Okay. I mean, does Marchessault take
Marchessault would be power play too? There, I saw power play practice yesterday too, and Marchessault was on number 2, so he's not correlated perfectly with Eichel and Riley Smith because it's Stone, Stevenson, Smith, and Eichel.
I mean, this is just screaming to me that you take Riley Smith for a point, minus 115.
Yeah.
With Eichel and Marchessault 5-on-5 and first power play.
Right.
That feels.
Yeah, Riley Smith easy. Is always a value. He's always a value.
Always.
For whatever reason.
Oh, one of my higher owned players on Underdog as well just seems to be working. And my boy Victor Arvidsson also right there. I have to mention my second highest owned guy because man,
you have to do I love Victor? Mentioning Victor.
Well, the thing about Arvidsson and why I love him so much is because you look at like zero shots, nothing, and then the next game he has 4 points and 8 shots on goal, and it's like that's what I need in the playoffs, baby. Like he is just your spike week guy in the right circumstances. So I don't feel bad about it. He scored quite a few times for me because he has those games in his game logs, and that's just going to get in the mix. So. Is that great for betting night to night? Absolutely not. And you're probably not going to do a ton of it, but I love Victor Arvidsson. I mean, 30 points in 38 games. Yeah, he's just good. He's a good hockey player, and his shooting has been way back up there again, like it was last year. So I do love him, but this is the best prop in the game. This is the best thing. There's really nothing else I think we need to mention. They don't have this price correctly. We could probably move on. I mean, anything on LA, I honestly, as I say that, I see that Kempe is also right here, and this is the guy that should be getting more points than he's getting. So I don't think
nothing
it's
because
incorrect to take a look.
What was it? If they're rolling Byfield again on that first line, I try and look at that kind of stuff and be like, okay, what can we actually expect out of Byfield? And turns out projections say nothing. So it's a done.
Right. Yeah. So Arvidsson to know. Yeah. No, he just didn't help. Did not help. Things could change. Keep an eye on it. I just think Kempe is getting unlucky this year. That's really. I mean, let's take a look on the season. Let's pull up. Come on, load Kempe.
The problem is he's separated from Fiala, and Fiala is their biggest offensive driver. So it's just it's not really working out. I mean, Kempe shoots but he's got to have the puck on his stick in the offensive zone to shoot. So
really, no one's doing much. Yeah, you just don't bet it right now.
Yeah,
easy enough. I mean, who else would have the highest individual expected goals in the past 5 per game?
Of course,
I don't even know why I asked. It was always Victor Arvidsson, who just move him up. Come on, okay. He started the year on the top power play. Okay, we can move on. Let's get to the last game. Let's do a couple of drafts and let's go on with our Saturdays. Yeah, boy, Sharks on the back-to-back against Boston. That feels ugly. Okay, interesting. You don't actually have this. Is Reimer in net, right? It should be Reimer.
Reimer's in net. Yeah, the reporting was yesterday if Kakkonen goes on Friday, then Reimer's on Saturday. So,
okay, let's take a peek here. Yeah, likes Boston to get some goals. I mean, it likes Boston to get some goals. I make the mistake every time, and I go over here and I say, "Whoa, Bergeron minus 155? That can't be right." And then Bergeron doesn't get a point. And then it's every time. Marchand scores, Pasternak has a hat trick, 2 goals. Oh, no, nothing from old Patrice Bergeron. Then the story of my life. Story of my life. 1-0 Rangers, by the way, as we speak.
Perfect.
So good start there. Jimmy Vesey. Everyone's picked for first goal. Great for him.
Yeah, everyone knew that.
Yeah. But this is every slate. Every slate I do this.
Well, and obviously with Boston, with the DeBrusk injury, now it's just super highly correlated with the Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak. But they're kind of becoming more one-dimensional. So I wonder how that's going to affect their offensive output.
I just don't get how Bergeron, who is shooting at an incredibly high rate, is not getting more points.
Yeah,
I mean, he's under a point per game. And again, you listen to like a 32 Thoughts or whatever you want to listen to, and they're just like, oh, like maybe it's just a bit of a decline. It's just not, and it's like, what decline? He just isn't getting points. Nothing else leads me to this guy being like a much worse hockey player other than just not getting any luck. And it might be the case that I continue to convince myself to buy on him now. I mean, look at that. I mean, who is the highest in the past 5 for him? Yep, he's producing offense. He's making things happen. Things should be going in the right direction for him. He's shooting everything on the season. I'm pretty sure it even is. I don't think he's the highest on the season, but let me look. I got to assume he's. That's every player. Good start. Yeah, it's second. We don't include this guy, and it just for some reason he's just not getting the points. I will get burned again, and I will go back to him 100%.
I mean. Yeah, how could you?
It's a good bet too. I guarantee you have
it. Is
too,
right? It is.
It's got to be.
Well, and that's kind of like what you and I have talked about. Like, if you're just gonna bet off of the past success, like it's you got to kind of project out, and you got to see stuff like that where, sure, it hasn't been hitting, but there's reason to believe that it should. So, I would stick with it.
Taylor Hall got the bump to the first power play, and McAvoy, but I'm not really buying that myself. I think it's probably still Lindholm, so I wouldn't take that. But with that being said, plus 400 is probably the better value. Holy crap, that's actually way higher than I thought it'd be. Plus 400 Taylor Hall for a power play point is definitely going to get bet by me today. Might just lock that in before anyone gets the wiser. Wow, that's a lot. But
Yeah.
Hampus Lindholm too is almost was 500.
Yeah, I
Right?
wouldn't do it though, just because I mean they seem to be going back to McAvoy on the
They don't.
first
Yeah,
unit.
they don't. In my opinion, it's. I'm trying to remember what team used to do this to us too, but honestly, it's Edmonton. Like I don't think they care, but now Edmonton seems to like Barry more. But I really just think that they're like, well, yeah. This time it's McAvoy, and then the next game for absolutely no reason they're like, you know what, Lindholm, you practiced well today. Why don't you go? It's like it's just stupid. So yeah, you probably don't do it, especially because Taylor Hall is just way better. But you do, yeah. To me, I'm just definitely not going to consider McAvoy the top defenseman until I've been proven otherwise. So yeah, Taylor Hall plus 400 for a power play point on that first unit in the place of DeBrusk, which makes perfect sense. That's the bet. Probably everything. Is there anything on San Jose you want to mention?
Besides taking like Timo Meyer over 10 shots on goal, no,
Yeah,
not really.
that's probably it. What do they have in that today? Plus money over 4.5. I mean, you could.
I haven't projected it 3.5 shots.
Yeah, so. It's quite high.
But
I wonder actually really what the bet would be, in my opinion. Oh no, they haven't priced down. I was gonna say if they have over 4.5 on Underdog or Prize Picks, the taking that under is got to be in play. And I know it's really hard to click on, but under 5 is would be value for sure. But it just isn't listed. So, how many shots on goal do you have last game? I think he had 10. Did he have 10? Yeah, he had 10. But of course, he heard I bet I needed the 2 goals, so he's like, "Oh, I got this. Don't worry."
Exactly.
Great job by him. Yeah.
Yep.
I love when the players do that for me. Oh man, Pacioretty's line's moving in the wrong direction. We're gonna want to jump on that. Okay.
I was gonna say that's one we should have locked in early.
Yep. I'm gonna check it on FanDuel too, really quickly, and then let's take a look. Am I blind? Where's the NHL? There it is. I'm just pulling up Underdog. Jumping in a lobby quickly. Yeah, allow it. Let's do this. We'll do a couple. Are you going to jump in one too with me? Or are you going to do it at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's jump in at the same time.
Let's look. What do we have for Pacioretty over on the other silly book? Minus 104. It's even better than it was. Yeah. Well, actually, it's FanDuel does that thing where you can bet the like 4 or more. You know what I mean? So that's priced at minus 104, but over 3.5, completely different bet. That's priced at minus 115. So over 3.5 or 4 or more, it's yeah. So I'm gonna bet that over on the duel. I'm gonna share that right now. Also, I'm being sarcastic. I hope that caught on. It's the same bet. They do that for everything. They also do over 0.5 goals and anytime goal scorer, and they're just different odds every time.
Yeah, I never understand that. Like, why do they?
Because they don't know what they're doing is my assumption. They don't care because no one's betting on it really. So yeah. And with that also being said, I mean, what about just Pacioretty over 6 shots on goal? I mean, who is to say? I'm kidding. That's too far. We've gone too far. That's when we just start burning money, which is what I thought I did last night with a $10 bet, but alas. Yeah. So Underdog. Yeah. Let's actually. I haven't really taken a peek at. I haven't bet or done any drafts yet. Order seems okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the line here, and a lot of it makes sense. I guess no one's going to be. Rantanen's going ahead of McKinnon, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's really stupid. I wouldn't do that. There's way better winger values, I'm sure, down the board. Right. Yeah, so we'll go over a little strategy. We can both kind of talk about everything probably here. Oh, did it start? No, it didn't start. So, yeah, I mean, one thing that I get asked about a lot is correlation and how I derive it and how I build it. So the night that I talked about, I did a ton of correlation and I took second and I actually was duped. Did you see that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe
that empty netter.
Because Saros was, but I was duped. So I split second. I couldn't believe it because Saros was going largely undrafted. And I thought I was going to get really unique with a McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman Forsberg, Yossi. That felt very, very weird. Although it makes sense. It logically it made sense, but actually like in a lobby putting that together seemed rare.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so that got me there. But the guy that beat me did not have a single correlated piece. It was every guy was on a different team.
Yep.
He had Saros in that. What can you do? Again, that's to prove that there really is no perfect rhyme or reason. And you can, if I draft, when I draft, and if I do one draft, I do 27. There's no in between for me anymore. I'm not going to, if I'm just either not drafting or I'm fully going in and doing a full gambit, because the best edge you're going to get is just having 27 teams with various combinations and stuff like that. Is the best edge you're going to get. And it's obvious, it's apparent. I'm not breaking anything. So the way I do it is it's a luxury. It's no different than when I was drafting Underdog for the beginning of, before the season started. Like correlation is a luxury, but it's not my number one thing. Last night I had Timo Meier. I could have taken Hurdle. Kucherov fell to me. I'm taking Kucherov every single time. It's not even a question. And people will like do that. You'll get in a lobby and someone will take two guys back to back and they'll go way down the board to get him.
Yep.
Again, if you're doing one draft, I guess whatever, but I'm never doing one draft because I don't think it's going to lead to a positive EV output to do one or two of these, over a long period of time. So I'm doing 27 of them. So I'm going to hope that if I want to stack, let's scroll down, just maybe let's say Toronto, right? I take Austin Matthews. Well, Nylander's way down here. I'm not taking him at the turn every time. I'm going to hope that no one else takes Nylander and I get him at the next turn where I'm now going to get, a piece of the Tage Thompson nature. So I'm going to have a very interesting, more unique build around Austin Matthews than others. And if I don't get Nylander, I'll just pivot to bunting. I don't need to have all three of them. I think you can. It certainly can. I did do that and had success with Edmonton, but I'm not, because in my opinion, I think Nylander's a better play on paper. It's upside wise. I think they're probably both pretty equivalent. Both of them are, I think, more or less playing similar roles on the power play. Nylander is shooting more, but not by such a margin that it's going to make a difference in this kind of capacity. So there are teams where the correlation is, again, like I'm trying to think of an easy example, but like if you take Timo Meier and it's between Hurdle and LeBanc, like it really isn't. Hurdle's a much better play because LeBanc isn't on that first power play. And you really, when you're, again, sometimes I have had people ask me, they're like, well, why do you care so much about power plays? Like, what if a team doesn't get that many power plays? And it's like, well, I have to assume they do. Like I'm only looking for the upside here.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So like, to me, I don't even consider that as an option because every team could go without a power play. That could happen, but I have to go with the assumption that there will be many. And when there are, that is where a lot of the points are going to really come from because you're going to get more shot attempts at that time. You're going to have more of an opportunity to score, etc. So I'm going to finish this really cold coffee as I do this as well.
That sounds great on the live stream.
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah. So we're starting here. Fourth. Okay, Ben, who's I think maybe still watching, but he's in this as well. We get a few people, a lot of badge bros. You got to get a badge.
So, yeah, right. So, great. So Ben's gonna know all our analysis and steal our picks. Perfect.
100%. Yeah, I actually had a lobby the other day with 0 badges, and that was a rare occurrence.
Ben's been winning.
Yeah, I think he took one down the other night. I guess I don't specifically remember. Let's take a peek. Wow. Hughes already has 3 shots. Brett has 1. I never got that Hughes bet in because I was too busy with all this. But
there's that Hughes over.
Yeah, he needs 1 more. They're just dominating the shot share. I was going to put in Shesterkin too, and I considered it, but I never got there. Okay, so is it started? Yeah, he started. Then again, when you're drafting 27. Okay, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say if he's waiting for our analysis, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving him my ideas. No, Matthews is my Matthews is my highest ranked player on the slate today. So,
right. But again, what I was gonna say is when I'm drafting 27 teams, I want a piece of Matthews and McDavid. So I'm not gonna like definitely take one over the other when I know I could, probably get either or. But I mean, this would be a great time to get McDavid at 4. I'm a little worried it's not going to happen, but you never know. The other day I'm in a lobby and I had McDavid at 5, I think, and someone took Kuznetsov second. So you never know until it's all comes. Oh, there it is. Boom. So yeah, he does that. I'm not going to queue anyone yet, but you have the turn. You do get the turn. That is. I love the big slates. There's crap. Oh, there goes Draisaitl. That was the prey.
I like McKinnon falling to me here.
Yeah, that is really nice at 6. Are you going all the way?
I want to see what I can do probably with Kaprizov here. So I'm going to take him over Tage.
So I was wondering about Makar if you're going to go for that correlation. And I know Makar hasn't been fantastic.
No, because honestly, the Makar McKinnon correlation hasn't been that much. I've looked into it and it just hasn't.
Yeah, I do think it could flip on a dime, and I understand. Oh, damn it! All right, well there goes old Tage, and when that happens, I think we grab Timo. We just don't care about the matchup, and we say Timo's gonna Timo again, because if Timo does what he did last game, and I have McDavid Timo, that's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and you did mention it. I mean, the way I'm looking at the 101 right now for today is I'd love a dead split if possible. That'd be great. So this guy does get his Rantanen and Makar, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, Austin has been going 101 a lot. I've been seeing McDavid slip more and more. It's kind of odd to see, but still, when you're in these drafts and you have that number 1 pick and McDavid's ranked number 1, you really kind of just have to do it. And if you're going to get your shares of him in there, because you can't just rely on
no one like him.
Yeah, of course he can just break a slate. So
right, it's 1 in 5 slates. He's going to break. Not literally, but like it feels that way. Like 1 in 5, he's just going to break it. And wow, Hundley, you just took Hyman on us. Interesting.
Oh wow. Okay.
Didn't want to take Nylander. Did you time out? We couldn't have been because Hyman's ADP 19. I did not expect that.
I didn't either.
I was gonna probably grab him here, but alas, it's okay. I don't even need him. Don't even need him. Just trying to get some of the bets we talked about in. My computer always has a problem actually placing the final bet. What do you think? You like Boldly for a point or for shots? You think shots is safer? Just a better play?
Shots is safer, but
yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to do shots. I mean, I'm probably going to bet ball. Oh, I thought it was up. I was like, oops, I missed my pick. All right. Cairo. Okay.
Wow.
So right now, man, this is interesting. I could just take Brady. I kind of like it, but I hate the matchup.
Mm-hmm. It's not a bad matchup. I can talk you into any Ottawa Senator today. It's not a bad matchup.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get really unique and not get a ton of correlation. Like I said, it's not necessary to do, and especially with the players I have. Like if I didn't get the way I look at McDavid is if I can get Draisaitl, I'm doing that every single time because when McDavid breaks the slate, Draisaitl's often along for the ride. But if I don't get that, that's okay. Here, I just say screw it.
Oh, this is tough. I think I want to do something back in that game, so maybe I go Rass here and do
okay
Rass and Boldy and do Kaprizov Boldy and bring it back with Dahlin and see what happens.
I'm always down for a bring back. I often do that, especially on the bigger slates. I feel like it's way less. It's just not done as much.
Right.
So I know what I'm going to take next, depending on what this guy does, who may be annoyed you took Dahlin from him.
Yeah, probably.
He's got a weird 3-man. He's kind of just not really. He took Tuck.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm going to take Carlson. I know all of these rates have been super bad, but I'm again, you just got to buy on on that not happening. Like you just got to buy on the the 2 points, and he actually has the rates come back to him. I think people are just going to let Timo and Carlson slide as far as possible, and they still are just good value. They're going to be good values on this slate. All right, hold on, I'm just trying. Oh, okay, yeah, this I remember. I might grab some straight bets now because we don't have Arvidsson. Oh, we don't need him. We took Riley Smith.
Yeah, you went Riley Smith.
I'm just kind of getting like the six kind of favorite bets in right now. And I'll read it off while we wait for your pick. So right now I have Pacioretty over on shots, Bunting for a point, Boldy over on shots, Riley Smith over on point, Bergeron over on point, and then I have Shen over on shots. Is that?
I like that.
Fishy? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's round robin that for $1. And let's do 20 on the parlay.
While you're doing that, I'll give my theory quick on in these underdog drafts on drafting goalie. I literally could wait to the last pick every single time to draft a goalie. There's always value. Like you said the other day, Saros was a huge value. He's just sat there. He went undrafted in a lot of the leagues because he was facing Carolina. But when you look at the shot rates that he was about to face, we didn't expect 60, but it was super high. So you can find value on the slates with every single one with goalie. So there's usually the goalie who's most likely to win is the one facing Columbus or Arizona who don't shoot at high rates. So he's not a good buy in underdog. You're looking for the upside. So you're looking for the goalie who steps up, faces a ton of shots, and can win the game for you. So,
all right. Actually, what I decided to swap it to is I straight bet them all, and then I just did like a round robin on the fives and the whole thing because I just need to get safer. I think doing the round robins, I'm really trying to work out how EV positive it is to like do for the whole thing. It's like, am I gaining a lot of value by adding like the twos and the three? Like if 4 things hit and I straight bet them all, I'm probably better off just doing that than putting like a quarter on the whole thing. I don't know. I really don't know because again, it's sort of one of those things where it's like probably not a perfect answer, but what you just said, I very much agree with. I pick goalie last almost every time. I have goalie now, right?
I have Gorgiev ranked third on the slate at goalie today. Obviously, Edmonton's going to pound him with shots, and yeah, he may let in 3-4 goals, but if Colorado can outscore him and he faces 40 shots, it's a ton of points. So,
yeah. Damn, this is actually kind of. I might go Binnington. I'm gonna do Binnington. I think he's gonna see more low danger chances than you'd think. My hope is that he gets up to the 30 range. I was actually gonna take Forsberg. He went one before me. That was the guy for me. And I don't correlate always with my stack. You don't need to, but
you don't need
I do
to,
think in this scenario, if Ottawa gets there, we have Seattle. That's like a pretty good Corsi Index team on the main slate, so they should shoot more. And if they're trailing, then they'll really hammer it.
Yeah, I don't blame people for taking Fleury here. His ADP at 15 is just ridiculous. Ben, if you're going to take him, go for it. But I think, as we've seen, Buffalo can just light up the slate. So it's really tough to rely on Fleury here when I think that game could be a 5-4 game easy. So
yeah. Well, we can get one more if you want to get in the next one. We only are waiting on 2. Just do one more and get out of here. And I'm just gonna get one more slip going here while we wait. So I'm gonna keep the Pacioretty. I'm just gonna do this as just a parlay with like everything. I'm just gonna say screw it. Like most of the things are gonna be the same. Oh, I should have just kept all my bets in slip. I always do that. I'm gonna get one from the. Oh, we started.
Like,
wow, that was.
Yeah,
Everyone's back.
Yeah, same exact people.
What in the Seattle Ottawa? You know what? Let's just screw it. Let's just do this Dutel. Like, why am I just take the best edge? Play the best plays, take the best edge. It's not hard. Wow. You noticed on the DraftKings app now it says like the percentage of bets coming in. It has 10% of bets have come in on Detroit today. Yikes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
People are not believers, and I'm not saying I'm a believer, but I think 290 is like, it's not wrong. I think that like you take that 290 and you feel okay about it.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna bet, but it's just Hellberg. Like that's keeping people back. I don't think he's. Again, I would say that he adds a negative 0.02 like goals saved above expected comparatively to like Husel, right? What is it?
It's not crazy. I can actually look it up.
No. Yeah, it's just like people are gonna overreact to that every single time.
I know the model doesn't love Hellberg, but it's where? Detroit. Yeah, negative 0.21.
Wow. Maybe I saw that. Was it on there? Maybe
it had to be in your head.
Seen that. I was gonna say, I feel like I'm almost like there's no way I just pulled that.
So I'm up here and at number 2, Matthews went 1 as we kind of expect. But with McDavid falling, I'm just gonna take him there and grab him while I can, just in case in my later drafts I'm not able to get that high again. So we'll see what we can do off McDavid myself here.
I got to assume he's taking Rantanen again, but you never do know for sure. Is he going to get exploitative or not? We're gonna find out the hard way.
I do have McKinnon ranked second to Matthews on the slate, so that's not a bad pick there. But again, when you're at the top of the draft, just to get different, like you're just kind of
I'm gonna get
selecting these guys.
I'm gonna get different myself. I'm gonna try to do the game stack that you did, except differently. If I could get Tage, Kaprizov, Dahlin, like I'm gonna try to go all the way with it. And if I can't because he takes Kaprizov, I'll just take one of the other two and just go from there. I guess I could have tried to game stack this one too. I really don't think Rantanen or Draisaitl are going to get back to me. Well, I think Kaprizov. Yeah, I mean there goes Rantanen.
We could see Rantanen and Draisaitl.
Yeah, I kind of like. I like the idea of game stacking this. If any game, and like I don't think it's not. This is not me saying again. This is how I look at it. Like I don't mind this over. I think this over is going to be bet on. I think it's fine. But what does the over look like hitting? I'd rather go for $1,000 or whatever it is today than play for $40. Like I don't know.
And what I'm seeing in this slate already, I think I'd almost rather game stack Thompson and Kaprizov instead of stacking like Makar with one of the Avalanche forwards, either Rantanen or McKinnon. Because again, the correlation it really isn't there. It's like it's almost a pseudo correlation. Unless it's on the power play, it's really not clicking like you'd think it would. So really what you want is the correlation of the pace of the game, and that's what you're going for here, which I like.
Yeah, no, again, I'm just going to bet on the upside. And if an over 6.5 hits and there's 7 goals, the other thing I kind of zoned out there for a second, but who's it going to come through? And it is unequivocally Kaprizov, Boldly, Tage.
Yep.
Tuck, Skinner,
the guys.
It's just, I'm not even concerned about it. So even though the pace in this game doesn't look unreal, it's the right bet, I think, for sure.
All right.
If you're going to game stack
me, so I'm going to take him here.
Yeah. Okay. Look at this little game stack too.
I'm game stacking a little bit here. Which I mean, that could work too. A Colorado Edmonton game stack is not bad. I do like the goalies in that game, but it's still.
I'm nervous, optimistic, and excited here to. I mean, I don't know if this guy's listening. I don't really care, I guess. I mean, Rasmus Dahlin makes a ton of sense to also be involved. So I will be grabbing him. I don't really feel like I'm missing out on anyone crazy here. Eichel is probably the guy. And I
consider him at my pick.
I might need a center is the problem. So maybe I just do Eichel now.
I think the value guys on the slate, I think are Ottawa. When you're looking,
I'm gonna take Eichel now. I'm gonna do it now because none of my guys are centers. Dahlin isn't, Bolby isn't, like none of them are. So
I keep forgetting.
I don't have it. So I have one more guy. I'm just gonna hope that either one of these two or what's his name? Jeff Skinner. I don't even really need to. The guy I want is Boldly. If Boldly's not there, then I'm going to be sad, but it is what it is. We'll see. I like this. I'd rather get Eichel. And because, again, like I know it's March or so and there's good correlated pieces and I can also grab one of them, but Eichel is going to be the catalyst there for sure. So what was the game we really liked the under on? Why can't I remember? Wasn't there one game that we were like the under?
Yeah, there was the Habs and Blues.
Habs and Blues. Okay, I'm going to do that here instead. Were there any money lines that we really liked? I'm trying to just include a couple different things this time. What was the best money line?
Well, it was Rangers, but on. Yeah.
Well, that was I was sweating.
And the other pick's gonna be Carolina, but I wouldn't bet that money line alone because that's minus 340 or something.
And not a ton here. Okay, that's fine. How many games are it? Was 9 minus 1, so 8. So I need one more bet. So I think it is the Bruins game. Taylor Hall to have a power play point. There it is. We're gonna get a little wild on this one because I'm gonna straight bet a couple of these, but that's wait. That's an assist. I was gonna say, what the hell? Okay. So I'm gonna just straight bet the ones I haven't straight bet. Taylor Hall, $20. Turn that into 100. 2 picks away. This guy cannot take either of my guys. So I'm going to get one or the other. I'm either going to get Tucker Boldly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he can't take a winger.
And who would you lean? Who would you lean here with the stack you have going already?
I think Boldly. I think the upside's higher, honestly, with it. Yeah, I mean,
the upside's definitely higher, but I was just wondering.
I guess in this scenario, make it 3, make it. I don't know. I think I'm just going to take Boldly. I think it's a little bit more fun, and then
for sure.
But we'll see. This guy, I mean, he really either.
I actually have Skinner ranked ahead of Tuck, just for the record.
Yeah, I think on the season that makes sense for sure. This is a trends play. If you there goes Tuck anyways. So I get a 2-2. I get Eichel, and then I'm going to cue Forsberg, who might go, and who else? Who do I think? I could cue Georgiev too. It's Georgiev, right? For sure.
Projected. I mean, they have Johansson. I mean, Franco's been out, so if they want to go Jonas Johansson against Edmonton, good luck.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take Forsberg.
Yep, Forsberg's a good pick.
All right, so this parlay getting a little crazy wild. You know what? Since we're getting crazy wild, I just want to look. What would turn this into 10,000? $14, $13.50, $13.75. Am I up?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to add in Taylor Hall power play point, Draisaitl shots, Stützle goal. There we go.
I wonder if I get crazy and take Georgiev or Skinner, even though I'm stacking that game. That would be a bold move.
I mean, the reason you do it is because
the shots.
You get the win in the shots. Yeah, that's and people do it in DFS. I mean, honestly, my thought is when there's so many options available in these draft windows, I actually personally don't think it's optimal to do because
I don't think so either. It's really against my theory, but
it's not wrong, I guess. I'm not trying to say like you can't do it and be successful in a vacuum, obviously, because like Saros, like if you took Saros and Svechnikov, you were in a really. I don't think actually Svechnikov even had a point though, but he had like 10 shots on goal. I think in that window, if you could do like a Columbus goalie with a Pacioretty, but you can't. But I'm just saying like that would make the most sense when it's really that high. But I don't think that it's quite high enough for me as a projection to actually do it. I like Luukkonen a lot. I think that's. I can't do it, but I think Luukkonen makes a ton of sense because
I kind of panicked.
He's going to go largely undrafted.
Yeah, he's going to go largely undrafted, and I figure again, he could see a lot of shots. So I do have Fleury ranked ahead of Luukkonen, but I wanted to go that way and just see if I could get something different there, especially with this game stack I'm going with. So could be widely used. And my underdog froze anyway.
It's over. Yeah. Do you want to try to do one more, or are you good to go?
Let's wrap it up because I got to update the site.
2 or 3 more before
you'll see me back in there.
That's definitely the right call. Actually.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hour 45 is more than enough. All right. So all that being said, I'm posting everything right now as far as all the bets and everything. Definitely get the Patch Ready one now. Nothing else has really moved. This will be free all day, so you can double check anything that was said basically as far as what we have, and things are subject to change as often they will. So any last thing you want to say before we get out of here?
Well, if we will be in the Underdog Drafts all day. I'm assuming you're gonna get up to 27, so I'll be in there as well. And we do have Underdog projections for today, specifically under the fantasy tab on the site, and that of course is free today. So if you want to join us and you don't really have a guideline, just open up projections and that should help you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be back on the Morning Skate podcast for Tuesday, and I'm going to try to get back to the weekends pretty regularly when I can. December was crazy, a lot of stuff. And I mean, I was in El Salvador. Like I was home a lot, obviously.
Yeah, we had holidays and a blizzard and a lot of stuff going on. So
we'll get back to normal. Like I wouldn't say I felt like guilty or anything, but it just kind of felt like the momentum that was being built sort of got lost, and I want to get back to it. But as we are as like we say, like, and as we prove, it's like it's all math based for us. And to me, it's like, we have the math here, and it's also other stuff in the Discord. Like if you want the math, it's available to you at all times. And I don't understand people that bet without math personally. Like, do whatever you want and maybe you could be successful. But if you are betting without any sort of, not checking your priors, not doing it, I do think over time you're not going to be successful. So check this out today, send it around. If you have friends that are into hockey betting, I had someone reach out and was like, I had a friend that was really getting into this now, and like he's wondering like what you're using because I told him to follow you, and I was like, yeah, like it's this like basically he's like, holy crap, like this is a lot. It's like, yeah, no, it exists. Like people just don't know about it yet. So definitely please, if you share any last elevator pitch, any tool or anything you want to mention, new, coming, or whatever.
I won't say anything that's coming because there's a lot in the works, but really just check out the site. If you like it, tell a friend. I know a lot of our DFS crowd, they don't want to tell anyone about it because they want their advantage, but everything's been accurate. It's all tested. I keep track of everything and how it all works. The PuckLuck picks are picking at 19% return on investment right now, which is about 4 times what a professional could expect on sports betting. So it's been hot all year, and we really haven't had any major lulls either. It's pretty consistent. So just follow the site, and if you like it, be sure to subscribe. It's anywhere from $10 to $30 a month. So you definitely get your money back. It's worth it. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we'll take off and we will talk soon. And everything just tweaked out on my computer. Follow us at PuckLuckJ, at DJ_Mitchell 94, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.